Hey funnel builders, Mike here from Sell Your Service, and today I want to talk to you about how there is no such thing as too small a niche. A lot of funnel builders ask me, hey man, what niche should I go after? And after we brainstorm a load of ideas, we'll come up with 2 or 3 niches or even micro niches that they could go after, kind of individual specific parts of the market. And they'll go, yeah, but I'm worried that that's like too small. Like if I just go after the Netherlands, isn't that too small a market? Or if I just go after people who require this particular service, or if I just go after this part of the industry and problem within the industry, isn't that too small? And I want to show you how it's not that you're small, it's that you're specific. Yes, if you were to create a market that's so small, then obviously you're never going to get anywhere. For example, if you only built marketing funnels for business owners who sold products to diabetic, epileptic, Siamese cats, that's a pretty small market. Like, actually, it's probably huge. I'll probably Google that and it'll turn out there's like 20,000 people who need that service. But if you went after something that's too specific, then yeah, it can make it too small. But the reality is you probably aren't making it too small. The point of a niche is that you need to be specific. You need to have a small enough number to be able to target people. And yeah, if you make a niche very, very specific, then obviously it's going to be too specific for, sorry, if you make a niche very, very specific, then obviously you're going to reduce the number of people who you're going to be trying to help. But in our job, what we're going to try and do is find something that's so specific that a lot of people need and want, but also positions you as a leader within that niche. So I'm going to build a niche, a marketing funnel business niche now just around thank you pages, and I want to prove to you that you can create content, drive traffic, create sales, create products just if you went after thank you pages. And we'll even get more specific than that. So very quickly, for those who don't know, a thank you page is you have your standard landing page or product page or webinar sign up page. You click, yeah, please send me this lead magnet, please send me this download, and whatever, you're taken to some kind of success page. It's a confirmation page, some people call it. I call it a thank you page. The thank you page is easily my favorite type of page to build, which sounds very sad, but that's true. So the niche that we're going to go after is websites and funnels that need thank you pages. Here's how we can work this out, and we're going to kind of grow this out and then work back on it. First of all, it's not enough for me to say I just build thank you pages. When people say to me, hey Mike, what is it that you do? I can't just say to them, I build thank you pages. I could potentially say that to other developers and designers, but that's not the market that I want to go after. I want to find a market that desperately requires thank you pages. And the way that I can find that, if I've decided that this is the part of the process I want to go after, if you watch some of my other videos, you'll see that the key to finding a niche is to go after a very broad range of the process. Look at the entire process that you and your customers go through and pick out 2 or even 1 area that you can focus in on. And for this particular one, it's thank you pages. So the first thing I need to look at is the benefits. What are the benefits behind a thank you page? Now, a thank you page is not the benefits are not the features, they are the future, the better future that it will provide to a customer. So for a thank you page, the first kind of better future that they can actually have is higher email marketing open and click rates. So if I can say in the future, if your business wants higher email marketing open and click rates, so higher open rates for your emails, higher click rates for your emails, I can help deliver that. The way I do that is through the thank you page, and the thank you page has a series of systems inside it which make sure that only verified decent email addresses get through, so it doesn't get clogged with spam users and fake users. So I can actually increase email marketing and open rates. I can also generate sales faster than before. So if, in the future, if you want to generate sales faster than just with a standard sales page, say it takes you 2 weeks to generate a sale from a new subscriber, I could get that down to, well, 15 minutes. Imagine being able to say that. I can generate a sale from your new leads within 15 minutes. In fact, we might actually put that. I can also help you acquire leads and email addresses for free, or sometimes even at profit. because the thank you page goes through to a Splinter product. The thank you page has a Splinter product on it. It says, hey, if you really like that blog post, if you like this lead magnet, you might like this resource or ebook or training. We're selling it for $9 or $19 or $200 or whatever the Splinter product price range is for your customers. And because I know I can work out the maths, that essentially pays for the 15 people who clicked through, or 10 people, or 100 people who clicked through and didn't buy anything. So I can actually acquire email addresses and leads for free. We can generate or attract traffic for free, again through that same method of, if 100 people click through and it costs me $100, and then 1 in 10 people buys a $10 product on the thank you page, essentially that's paid for itself. Okay, so I can acquire traffic for free. These are the benefits to the thing that I can deliver, or to the thing that I'm very good at. I then need to work out who wants this. Now, this is not a case of who needs it. I can also generate sales on automation with no follow-up. I have to think who wants it. I've talked before about the difference between want and need. If I just go after something that people need, I will have a much harder time convincing them than if I sell them something that they want. Businesses want higher email open and click rates. Actually, this is a good example. Some businesses want higher email open and click rates. Some businesses don't want that. They might need it in the same way that I need to go to the gym and I need to eat healthier food and less sugar and more plant-based food, but I want a burger and to sit down and watch Final Space on Netflix. So I have to think about who wants this, and this is another way of saying who would benefit from this. And this is all, again, this is just the thank you page. I just plan on building thank you pages for my customers, and I'll show you a little bit, and we'll go into a bit more detail. Who wants this? Who would benefit from it? So digital products would benefit from this. Anyone with a lead magnet and a low barrier to entry product, or a tripwire or a Splinter product. So anyone with a lead magnet or low barrier to entry, anyone who spends money on PPC ads, anyone who wants to grow their email list. So can you see that I'm actually qualifying it out? Now this looks very broad. This is the interesting part about a niche, is it looks very broad, because there's almost everyone's got a lead magnet. Now in actual fact, there's very few people that have got a lead magnet, very few people. And I'm going to show you that the specificity of being known for something is what allows you to break into much larger markets. I've always called it myself like a tripwire if you're buying a product, or a hook. You know, what is it that gets you in? For example, if you're very good, car garages are very good for this. You go in for an oil change, or to, you know, change the tires, and they'll then say, oh, you know, your light bulb's out and your driver side ignition, you know, little socket thing doesn't work, and your handbrake cable is a bit loose. And bit by bit they kind of upsell you. Same with interior designers. You get someone to come around and they say, look, I just want to get the curtains done. They go, well, you know what you could do is replace the rails and the ends, and in fact we could match them, and we could do them upstairs as well. But then in that case you probably need to change the carpet. You'd also need to change the couch as well. So it's kind of about going out. Other people have called this land and expand, which is a very corporate term. If you've ever worked in a corporate environment, they've probably used something like that, land and expand. The idea is I want to focus in on people in this particular market. So people who sell digital products, who have a lead magnet, they spend money on PPC ads, and they want to grow their email list. That's who wants it. Okay, so that there is my market, and I'm going to build thank you pages for that. So I can now begin to say, look, if you sell digital products, and it could be that other people would benefit from this as well, but the thank you page in particular, people who run webinars, they would require this, because I could say, well, how about you grow webinar attendees for free? So people who run webinars. So if you sell a digital product, or maybe a course, online courses, there's a big market right now. And the beauty of online courses is that it's so big. There's so many players in the market that you can provide something very specific and help people out. I feel that everyone's going after online courses at the moment, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I know of a few people who do that. We do, you know, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you then might want to have a look at more specific within that. And we could say, for example, authors who are releasing a course, or converting a course into a book, because I'm just looking at who benefits. If you've built a course and you want to convert that into a book, you're currently spending money on PPC getting people into the course. You know that it takes about 2 to 5 weeks to get someone to buy your course. You already drive traffic. You run webinars and you want to grow your email list. That's very specific. Building one product, the thank you page, could completely change your business. So this is now beginning to craft who I go after. This is the important point though. There's no right or wrong. You're never going to truly know. And you aren't ever going to fully know. You're never going to think, yes, this is 100% it. Yes, I absolutely get this now. Yes, this is the market I should be going after. Your job is to become specific. And this is that next piece. So let's say that we've decided to work with people who create online courses. They're converting that course into a book. They currently spend money on PPC and they want to grow their email list. If we want to then think about, well, where do we find these people? I go to all of these areas and groups. I go to Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups and forums and blogs just on PPC. And I try to look for any content that helps people drive PPC just to courses. I go to course-based businesses and I have a look at what they also follow. I look at influencers and business owners who have online courses and I look at who they follow. And I reach out to people and I say, who is it that you look up to? Where do you get your information on PPC? Where do you get your information on growing an email list? Where do you get your information on running a webinar? And I try to gather as much information as I can from that group of people. If I didn't have any of this, if I still didn't have any of this, and I just knew that I could help people who run webinars, who want to grow their email list, who also need to spend money on PPC ads, and they've got a lead magnet and a low barrier to entry product, I have a look and I just spend 2 or 3 days on Google looking around. I think, okay, well, who runs webinars? Well, I know GoToWebinar and Demio and Webinar Jam. I go to their social media pages and I see who follows them. I look for business names of who follows them. And then I try to do a kind of a Venn diagram of, all right, well, out of everyone on that, who is looking at information on growing their email list? So I look at HubSpot and Infusionsoft and ActiveCampaign and MailChimp and Opt-in-Monster and Icegram. And I look at all those areas and I think, well, who's following them? Are there any overlaps there? Even if they're not within an industry, are there any overlaps? And I then begin to think, okay, well, who do people get information on PPC? And I go to johnloomer.com and I look at digitalmarketer.com and the Perpetual Traffic podcast. And I look at Miles Beckler and I go, well, who's following them? And yeah, this is hard work, but this is called building a niche and building a business. And I begin to overlap all those things and I begin to build out this avatar, and it becomes very apparent to me that everyone who follows those kinds of things, they're typically a one-person band who's looking to expand their digital products. They probably sell some kind of service, and maybe they've got an online community. So I go, okay, well, maybe it's the community that I go after. And I say, if you run a community on Facebook and you also have a lot of blog content, you're trying to convert those blog readers into paying customers by running webinars, I can help you generate sales faster. I can help you reduce your email marketing costs. I can help you increase your open rates and click rates. So it's about constant research, but you're never going to have that without doing the research. Here's the next part, is the content. And I actually call this the commitment phase. The reason why, if anyone ever had to write essays or anything at university or college or high school, you'll know just how much hard work sometimes writing an essay is, or writing content. And now often to a lot of us, it comes as easy as breathing. If I was going to, and for this particular example, I am just going to focus on online courses. But if I was going to really commit to this niche, I'd write content on it, because writing content is going to help me commit to that niche. Very rarely do people get halfway through their dissertation or their essay and then think, actually, I'm going to change it. We're often actually writing it is like, look, I'm halfway through, I've already started it, this is what I'm going to commit to. So I'm going to think of 5 content silos. And within this, it's basically going to be content that's going to position me as an expert within that niche. So the 5 kind of buckets or the silos that I'm going to talk about are growing an email list, and then selling an online course, and then converting a course into a book. And what else have we got? Growing an email list, we're going to go attracting traffic, and email marketing. 5 pretty broad areas. And within that, I then think of between 10 and 5 individual pieces of content. These could be videos, these could be blog posts, these could be podcast episodes. In an ideal world, if you had an infinite content team, you do one of everything. You wouldn't just repurpose it. And I'm saying this is in an ideal world with infinite budget. But for example, growing an email list, we're going to look at some opt-in form tests and messages. Opt-in form, offers, and what converts. Now, these are just the overall subjects. I would go ahead and re-look at titles, and I'd think, okay, well, what needs to happen after an email list? I'd need to think what's going to get an email list to pay for itself. I'm going to need to think now, these are just the content types. If I, after I've committed to them and after I've done the content on them and the blog post or the YouTube video or the podcast, I then think of a snappy title. I want to, dress it up a little bit, but these are just the overall topics that I'm going to be looking at during this process. So I'm going to get an email list to pay for itself or grow an email list for free. Now you can see that this becomes very specific to this market, and over time I just want to position this product to them. I want to say you need a thank you page. All of this here could lead to, if someone said, hey man, could you actually help me with this? Yeah, I can, and I build them the thank you page. Selling an online course, you need to, selling a Splinter product. And for this particular one, if we're going to go, a few layers deep, I would say how to generate a sale within 15 minutes of a subscriber opting in. How to generate a sale within 15 minutes of a subscriber opting in. And that's selling a Splinter product on a thank you page. Now we could do this again and again and again, but it's basically these 3 steps. Think about the part of the 4 steps, I should say. Think about the part of the process that you really enjoy, even if it's so specific, even if it's just opt-in forms. We could do this again for opt-in forms. Look at the benefits. Who would benefit from it and who wants it? And then how do you show your commitment to it through these 5 content silos? You're never going to get it perfect. A lot of the time you have to just write the content over and over and over, publish whatever you can, even if it's 498 words and everyone says, oh, you should only publish things with 500 words. Well, publishing something with 498 words is 498 times more effective than publishing something with 0 words. So getting it out there, writing, and over time you will begin to hone in on this market. Eventually it might be that you realize the people who really need help with this are people who sell or who have lead magnets from a blog post and they're trying to monetize that audience. So again, you couldn't even go just with online courses. You could think, well, people with large blog followings who want to monetize that audience without advertising. That's going to be a big community, by the way. Sorry, that's going to be a big market, by the way, helping people monetize communities. And then you could think, well, large blog followings on something specific, on WordPress.com. So just WordPress.com, not even a WordPress site, just WordPress.com. Or you could think, well, people who've got large followings on Instagram who want to monetize that audience without advertising. That there is the overall niche market. That's your process. If I could tell you one thing, though, it's know and accept and understand that you're never going to find anything that's going to click immediately. It's not an epiphany. It's a process of digging and mining, and you have to uncover that niche. Let me know in the comments below if this was useful, guys, and if you have a niche, please, please, please let me know and share it, because the more people I know who have a niche, the more people I can help. In the meantime, share this video with anyone who you think might need help finding a niche for their marketing funnel business. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. If you're new, hello, consider subscribing. Really helps me out, obviously. Let me know in the comments below if this is useful. Probably got a couple of videos either side of my head. In the meantime, guys, thank you very much for your time. Keep building those funnels.